But what you're saying is that if now you are still blaming the former manager who bought for you the woes and pathologies you are dealing with, then it shows the level of incompetence that you are dealing with.
On the 27th of February 2025, the president of the land, John Mahama, gave a State of the Nation's address. In that address, he was very clear to the nation that Cocoa Board, that was managed by Dr. Boahen Edu and his people, took a facility, I know we do syndicated loans, futures and forwards, based on certain projections. And that the amount of money that they took, they were expected to supply a certain quantum of cocoa beans.
Abusinya mamena wase na mema wakwaba krasi kobi akoso on TV3 between Honorable Solomon Owusu and Dr. Zaato our political science lecturer ewo UG na ne yete ne se omse na nsense kokoo akuafo omuri kokoo ekwo share da yentwia omo eka ama problem bebre aba akuafo any government no entem eno na Honorable Solomon Owusu all chirebu se eye NPP fo amamu ena ma wenyina asi na no ena Dr. Zaato zo all can say no enye NPP fo na emum eye Mahama mismanagement and incompetence ena ma wenyina asi enti Honorable Solomon Owusu wa chire ne enti e ma wenyina ekoso no enti mayenko yekotie ensemu a Dr. Zaato okaye na ye wi a me de Solomon Owusu video no so atwa so e dia ma say NPP fo ana say ye NDC fo ena ma problem wi aba uwie na comment section na wa chire wa bi unya subscribe ya mɛss subscribe like video wi na share ma wonu bi no no so onya bi enwe me da wase nyankopon hira wo yenko na ko video no.
But what you're saying is that if now you are still blaming the former manager who bought for you the woes and pathologies you are dealing with, then it shows the level of incompetence that you are dealing with. Look, the decisions, the problem happening in Cocoa Board is a result of what? Policy reversals, internal conflict, and poor, weak decision making.
What do you mean by that?
It seems almost all the policies of this government have one objective when it comes to agriculture sector: to make farmers poor and poorer. I started by talking about how maize and beans farmers in the northern part of this country are poorer and poorer. I talked about how rice farmers are poorer and poorer. I talked about how farmers down have the egg glut. They are getting poorer and poorer. Now we are going to how cocoa farmers are getting poorer and poorer. What wrong have farmers done this government? That any policy. If you talk to any member of the NDC about the economy, the dollar is down, fuel prices are down, inflation is down. Inflation is down, farmers cannot be paid. What kind of economic management is that? Inflation is down, cocoa farmers cannot be paid. What kind of economic management is that? Inflation is down, the wars and pathology, farmers are crying, and you say the economy is better. Which economy are you talking about? Why is it that the economy is doing well? Meanwhile, the economy of farmers is getting weak, poor and bad. The farmers are wallowing. Why? I want to let you understand
what do you mean by the farmers are?
They are not being paid. You just made that point. It doesn't matter even if it's just some of them. Do you know that farmers are threatening to turn their farms into galamsey sites? Do you know that farmers are threatening that they will turn their farms into rubber plantations? Do you know cocoa farmers are threatening that they will illegally send their cocoa out? Why is it that you said the previous economy was criminally managed, but that economy paid cocoa farmers? Say whatever you want, syndicated loans, no syndicated loans, no whatever. We never sat down here in 2024 to say that cocoa farmers have not been paid. They were paid. So if the criminally managed economy in 2024 paid cocoa farmers, and now I thought it's forcing. Now dollar is coming down. Now inflation is coming down. Now everything you paint the picture, see the whole economy is kumbaya. But why is it that the kumbaya economy cannot pay cocoa farmers?
He's just outlining the reason, the bottleneck.
Those are excuses. Those are beginning.
And then the refinancing that has always been a burden for us, because we go out there, go and take the loan, the syndicated loans, and even when it comes into the economy, it shows up the city.
Yes.
And so you find that historically, each time it's the last quarter of the year, then the government in power and the finance minister and the head of Cocoa Board will always come and say, oh, a syndicated loan is coming. But this time, you know that when we went to the IMF, is it not true? We've been blacked out generally out of the market. So it makes us go into the market and go take facilities at high percentage values. Is that not true?
A good manager gets the job done.
I don't understand.
You are Cocoa Board.
So you mean previously we had bad managers?
Previously they got the farmers paid. Whatever it was, whatever it is, they got the job done. They pay the farmers. A good manager got that. If you are Cocoa Board, your central job is to pay the farmers for their cocoa. If you don't do that, you are incompetent. If you don't do that, you are not worthy of that job. I don't care the big English. I don't care the excuses, because everybody can come with a mountain of excuses for why you cannot do the very basic fundamental of the job. I don't care syndicated loans. I don't care whatever it is. Get the farmers paid. Are they be paid? No. Remember when this government came, one of the first things the finance minister said was that he was going to increase cocoa price to 6,000. You remember that, right? He didn't do that. At the veteran of the finance minister, he said, I'll raise it to 2,000. So what you are feeding cocoa farmers is a chain
The finance minister didn't say that.
What did he say?
Okay, so what he did say was at an event. That was before they came into government, that it could be even the payment of a tag of 6,000. And so at the vetting, he was asked, and he said those words at the time that he did.
So at the end of the day now, if you are a cocoa farmer, you are poorer because of the decisions you made. You are poorer because the reset that was promised to you and your economy is not good. You are poorer because we are being told that the economy is doing well, your economy is not doing well. But that is just how you begin to see this cracks in it. My argument here is that as the government that is talking about industrialization, about adding value to our products, the economy seems to have been run in such a skewed way that farmers are bearing the brunt of all these things. Why? How did we get here? How did we get here that the cocoa farmers are suffering like this? I talked about the first thing, the politics of forward sales. Yes, if we were locked out of the finance market, there were also policy decisions made to make sure that that doesn't happen. I'm also now saying that as a government, what do you do? How do we make sure that we get out of this glut? Right now, the gold prices are still relatively high. They are falling. They're falling to about 4,000. They're still high. Why can't we get some of the revenue? Because the government sold the revenue. We're told that the government sold a large number of gold, about more than half of the gold reserves, because they got to do speculation. We got revenue. Why can't we use some of that to pay these cocoa farmers? At the end of the day, why can't we come up with smart, intelligent policies and processes to make sure that the average farmer, because we can always give excuses from morning to evening. But at the end of the day, the cocoa farmers are human beings. They are fathers, they are mothers, they have jobs to pay, they have bills to pay, they have food to put on the table. Not paying them and not putting enough measures in place to make sure they are paid is wicked, vindictive, and should not happen.
So, what do you say to all these observations?
I don't blame Zaato, and as if we are prophets, and we will always be prophets. He is right. He's saying that after 1 year, what have you done? I kept last year telling you that this business of people in this administration trying to cover up for the previous administration will come back to haunt them.
I don't understand.
On the 27th of February 2025, the president of the land, John Mahama, gave a State of the Nation's address. In that address, he was very clear to the nation that Cocoa Board, that was managed by Dr. Boahedu and his people, took a facility, we do syndicated loans, futures and forwards, based on certain projections. And that the amount of money that they took, they were expected to supply a certain quantum of cocoa beans. Now, with this figure, Cocoa Board failed to supply 333,000.
I don't understand. You mean during the period of Boahedu?
Boahedu and NPP, that Zaato is running his mouth, and he has to run his mouth. Because some people are not doing their job. Some people are covering up for the previous administration.
In this administration?
Yes.
And while they should be exposing them?
They must be facing prosecution.
What about oral?
They must be facing prosecution. 333,776 tons of cocoa they could not deliver. And guess what? For those who are listening and do not know what 333,767 tons of cocoa means, it means we could not supply to our vendors cocoa bags worth 5 million plus.
In default?
In default. Now guess what? When they were doing the features, at that time they pegged the figure at $2,600 per ton. So multiply $2,600 per ton by 333,767. Can you do that for me, please?
You said what again?
333,767.
333,767
times $2,600.
$867.7 million.
$867.7 million.
Almost 900.
So guess what? And that is why people must face prosecution. Rolla, if you go and take money that you will be able to supply X amount of cocoa, you could not get the cocoa beans to supply. It means you did not pay farmers. Is that not the case?
Sure.
It means that money that you went and borrowed must be sitting in the account. Is that not the case?
Sure.
Why is it that that money that they went to borrow was not sitting in the account? You were told during the same State of the Nation address that Cocoa Board was owing 32.5 billion Ghana cedis. And the one that is there. The management of Cocoa Board, they are still there. And nobody is coughing. You are in this country. We were told by Randy Abbey that sacks, cocoa sacks that we did not need, they have procured up to 2030. They were just buying. They were just procuring sacks.
Cocoa sacks?
Oh, what is it? Bags, yes.
Off-taking.
Off-taking because it was a cheap way.
Procurement?
Procurement. Under Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia, the wisest leader in cabinet. That's what they did. Now, 2018, 2019, go and check what they did. With the cocoa roast, they were just dashing money.
Oh, Solo, you can't make those dashing.
They would just give fair contracts and then give money to their cronies to be shared. So if today they have turned the heat on, I know my people very well. I was in the NPP. When the people started pumping it, I said, these people, they're only waiting for a year or two, and they will turn the heat and tell, what did Zaato do this was, oh, we must forget about the past. Everything, I don't care your big English. Yes, you will not care.
Please call Randy Abbey for me, Dr. Randy Abbey.
It's very important. It's very important that why is he not speaking on the matter? Why is he not speaking on the roads that he went to meet?
You're making some serious...
Because if you are going to take money to buy a certain quantum and you say you could not get the beans to supply, that money must be sitting in the account.
Because what you're saying is that there are key issues and mismanagement
absolutely,
and misappropriation that happen. And for which people should be held accountable.
They have to buy
and the new management should be spearheading.
They have to be spearheading out there. If you are not, that is what is supposed to happen. But they will sit down there. You see, yesterday also I heard the president say that they must do a forensic audit at what? Scholarship secretary. How many times haven't I come here? So were you waiting? What were you waiting for?
Exactly.